Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Dental Cafe. So today we are going to discuss about the triangles of neck. This is very important topic from the examination point of view and from the Neet point of view. So in this video we are going to discuss about the anterior triangles and the posterior triangles. Okay, then let's begin the video. Look at the figure. This is we have a mandible. This is a mystoid process. This is manubrium, and then we have a clavicle. And the in anterior we have a anterior midline of neck, and posteriorly mystoid process and clavicle is connected with the help of trapezius muscle. And from mystoid to manubrium and one part to the clavicle, we have a sternocleidomystoid attachment. As you can see in the figure, between the trapezius and the anterior midline of the neck, we have a sternocleidomystoid, and it divides the entire boundary into the two triangles. So the first one, this is we have a anterior triangle, and the other which is in red is the posterior triangle. As you can very well see in the figure that sternocleidomastoid divides the boundary into the two triangle, that is the anterior triangle of the neck and the posterior triangle of the neck. Now, how many triangles are there in the anterior triangle of the neck and how many triangles are there in the posterior triangle of the neck? So look at the figure. This is we have a hyoid bone, and from the hyoid bone, superior valley of omohyoid, superior belly of omohyoid arises, as you can see, and this superior belly of omohyoid is limited to the anterior triangle, and it further proceed the posterior triangle, and now it is called inferior belly of omohyoid. Then we have another muscle attachment that arises from the mandible and attaches the hyoid bone, and this is we have an anterior belly of digastric. And then after insertion into the hyoid bone, and this muscle goes posteriorly and called posterior belly of digastric. Okay, now we are going to focus on the posterior triangle of the neck and remove other extra areas. Okay, just focus on the posterior triangle of the neck. It is very well clear that sternocleidomastoid divides the triangle of the neck into anterior and the posterior triangle. Now look at the posterior triangle. In posterior triangle, if you are seeing, the inferior belly of omohyoid divides the posterior triangle of neck into further two triangle, one small triangle and one large triangle. And what's their name? So the larger triangle name is the occipital triangle, and the smaller triangle name is the subclavian or supraclavicular triangle. So in posterior triangle we have two types of triangles, occipital and the subclavian triangle, and which is divided by the inferior belly of omohyoid. I think posterior triangle of the neck is clear. I'll summarize the entire video at the end. Now the anterior triangles of the neck. What all are the anterior triangles of the neck? As we all know, this is we have anterior belly of digastric already discussed. Then this is continue posteriorly as the posterior belly of digastric. Then we have a superior belly of omohyoid, which is continue as the inferior belly of omohyoid in the posterior triangle of the neck. All are already discussed. So now we are going to focus on the anterior triangle. See how many triangles are there in the anterior triangle of the neck. So in anterior we have a 3.5 triangles present. How 3.5? Look at the figure. First one, we have a digastric triangle. Then we have a carotid triangle. Then we have a muscular triangle. And then the last, we have a submental triangle. Half of the submental triangle is present on the other side, not on the interior side. That is why in anterior triangle of the neck we have a 3.5 triangles. And as you can see, anterior triangle of the neck is divided by the superior belly of omohyoid, anterior and the posterior belly of digastric muscles. It means digastric muscles and the omohyoid muscle divide the anterior triangle of the neck further into the 3.5 triangles. And in posterior we have a two triangles which is divided by the inferior belly of omohyoid. One is the occipital and other is the subclavian triangle. We have a triangles of the neck, which is a triangle of the neck is divided by the sternocleidomastoid muscle into the two triangle, anterior and the posterior triangle. Then anterior triangle is divided further into the 3.5 triangle by the digastric muscles and the superior belly of the omohyoid. And the posterior is divided by the inferior belly of the omohyoid. Anterior is divided into carotid triangle, muscular triangle, submental triangle, and the digastric triangle. And posterior is divided into the occipital and the subclavian or subclavicular triangle. Further about the floor and the attachments of the triangle and their boundary, I'll tell you in the next video in part 2. And I hope this video is helpful for you to understand about the triangles of the neck. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest update.